Yeah. Hey, Tyre. Good morning. How's it going? Burn shroom. Scorch me to the ground. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes, Spanky, you're okay. It has been a morning already. Mm. Anyway, you know, Matt Gates, we all know I don't like him. I mean, he's not one of my favorite people elected to office. But he keeps doing or at least asking the right questions. Now, whether he's doing it because, hey, Duck Dog, yeah, well, my pasty skin anymore. You could tell I haven't been out in the sun much. Excuse me for that. But Matt Gates, he for some reason he asked the right question and he just sort of does it. Now, I'm just going to start with this. Images show the U.S. military building. Whoa, what in the devil? Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, there we go. Pentagon says it's going to cost $320 million for a pier. Now, this article is from April 30th, so it's a week old. The United States Central Command has released images of a floating pier being built by U.S. military off the coast of Gaza, which once completed is intended to help deliver much needed humanitarian aid to the devastated strip's starving population. Why are we building this pier? It makes no sense to me. Why are we the leaders of Gaza are multimillionaires, multi-billionaires, millionaires. Why is the American taxpayer putting our money into this? Why are we having our military build this? We're not going to get any more love from anybody in doing this. Palestinian Authority, the Arabs, the Muslim aren't going to like us anymore for doing this. They're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, America's no longer the devil." They're not going to do that. There's nothing we can do to garner any love from the radical Muslims in the Middle East. So why are we building this? I don't want to hear it's about it's up to us to make sure that the people that live in Gaza get food or get medical aid or anything else. None of that matters to me. Hey, good morning, Ramen. So why are we putting our people out there? Why are we building this? Why are we spending our money? Now it doesn't look like much, and be big enough for a couple of ships to pull up alongside to unload or load, mostly unload. The senior military official said last week the U.S. is on track to begin delivery of humanitarian assistance to Gaza from the sea in early May, which will begin at the equivalent of 90 trucks per day of aid and quickly scale up to 150 trucks per day afterwards. Now, here it is, but emphasize there will be no boots on the ground in Gaza. Instead, the Israeli Defense Forces will partner with the U.S. military to anchor the causeway to the shore in Gaza on day one. This doesn't make good sense to me. Now, I'll tell you why. Let's listen to old Matt here asking questions, asking this question.
Be about 1,000 U.S. service members. Let's stay on the same subject. Ms. Locken just said there'll be about 1,000 U.S. service members operating a peer system off of Gaza. How many of them will have guns, Mr. Secretary?
Well, typically all of the deployed service members carry guns, and they have the ability to protect themselves if challenged.
So if someone from land in Gaza shoots at our service members who are on the $320 million pier that we're building, you're telling me our service members can shoot back?
They have the right to return fire to protect themselves. Now,
well, do we think that's like?
They have the right to return fire, but will they be under orders to not to return fire? Will they be under orders not to return fire back to these people? Because they've been given those orders before. Our military's been ordered before not to return fire. So will they do that again?
So now I want to move to the likelihood that you think someone from land in Gaza might shoot at our service members on this pier. Do you think that that's a likely scenario?
That's possible, yes.
So it's possible where you're building this dock, you're building it close enough that somebody from shore could attack our troops. That's what you're saying there, Mr. Austin. That's what you're saying, huh?
This is a very telling moment, Mr. Secretary, because you've said something that's quite possible that could happen, right? Shots from Gaza on our service members, and then the response, our armed service members shooting live fire into Gaza. That is a possible outcome here so that we can become the Port Authority and run this pier. Right?
That's correct. You know, I expect that we will always
Don't
have the
you think
ability
that
to protect
counts as
ourselves.
boots on the ground? President Biden told the country that we weren't going to have boots on the ground in Gaza.
And we won't.
Okay, but you guys parse the distinction between, like, when Americans think boots on the ground.
Yeah, he's asking the question. He is thinking the way everybody should have thought about this. The way I would think about this. The way I am thinking about this.
Ground, they think Americans in harm's way or engaged actively in a conflict. You guys seem to be sort of saying that boots on a pier connected to the ground, connected to service members shooting into Gaza, doesn't count as boots on the ground?
It does not.
That somebody explain to me, hey Joshua. Actually, I was a few minutes late there, Josh, because I was on the phone with my doctor's office. But somebody explain to me how we are built, why we are, okay. Let's say that they've tugged on my heartstrings enough to agree that we spend this $320 million to build this dock. Okay. Why are we why are we building it close enough? Because it has to be attached, brought in to be attached to shore. Why are we building it close enough that our troops are in danger while they're building it? Was there no way they could build this thing out far enough that our troops wouldn't be vulnerable to getting shot at from the land? Or better yet, pay a Muslim country to build it. But then why isn't a Muslim country building it? Why is not a Muslim country over there? They're all locked. First of all, they're Muslim. They're also Muslims. The same religion. The same genotypes. The same people, for all intents and purposes. So why are not any one of the Arab or Muslim countries over there building this dock to support fellow Muslims who are in need? Why is it our country job to build this when we are hated by these people? Josh, this didn't go through the Congress. Congress had no word in this. This was a directive sent down from the president. The legislature had no word in this, had no say. Hey, Tar, I don't disagree with you. You know, we should not be, our only involvement and this should be supporting Israel. One of the articles I just read, one of the articles I did, or interviews I just read, saw rather, this latest appropriation that they signed to go to the Ukraine, and I know I'm off topic here for a little bit, is larger than the money that we're authorizing to operate the United States Marine Corps for an entire year. Think about that. We just sent more money to the Ukraine than what we gave our own Marines to operate for the entire year. And you know Ukraine's going to be back here in a couple of months looking for more. Yeah, Josh, yes, he could. This decision, yes, the president is fully within his authority to make the decision to build this dock. But back to this. And I'll say it again, I'm not a huge Matt Gaetz fan. But damn it, I love him for asking these questions.
I think you're going to find the American people have a different perspective on that. And if we're going to have people shooting into Gaza, we probably should have a vote on that pursuant to our war powers. But I want to bring us now closer to home and the F-35 program. Is the
All right. So that's all I wanted to do on that. And, you know, Gaetz is right. Gaetz is right. You know, if our people stand the chance of being shot at, then they're boots on the ground. If they're close enough to get shot at, then then we should be considering them boots on the ground. If they're close enough to be killed, they're close enough to be wounded, they're close enough to be shot, injured, then let's call it what it is. They're boots on the ground. Hey, morning, Masquerations. But I'm sorry, you know, I just found out about this whole mess yesterday or Monday afternoon. Yeah, yesterday afternoon. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This thing's almost a week old and I'm just now finding out about it. Another question I've got is why hasn't the right been out there raising hell about this? Come on, Mitch McConnell. Why aren't you out there raising hell about this? Ted Cruz, you got a big mouth. Why haven't you been out there? Why is the only person I'm hearing raising any cane about this is Matt Gaetz? A guy who's not liked. Johnson, why aren't you out there raising cane about this? Now, Matt Gaetz, granted, has got military in his district. But this makes no damn sense to me whatsoever. I'm sorry to say it. But in my research and trying to find some more videos on that or stories on that, let's see here. No electricity about to click. But see, Israel is not happy with the U.S. right now anyway. Whoops. Let me. Israel frustrated with U.S. handling of hostage talks. Israeli officials claim the Biden administration knew about the latest hostage and ceasefire deal proposal and Qatar negotiated, but didn't brief Israel before Hamas accepted it on Monday. This episode has created deep disappointment and suspicion among senior Israeli officials regarding the U.S. role in the hostage deals and could negatively influence negotiations going forward. She was the one country in the Middle East that we could count on to support the United States. The one country. And now they're saying Biden backstabbed them. Now, here's a kicker, though. The U.S. believes that Israel is engaged in good talks and good faith, and Israel's late April proposal is the most forward-leaning to date. To secure a ceasefire, Hamas needs to simply release the hostages. The problem is Hamas is saying they don't have, we talked about this last week, don't have the hostages that they claimed that they had. They can't find the numbers to make things fit square around. Excuse me for a bit. Sorry about that. The CIA was involved. Why? This ain't my distrust of the CIA. I don't know of too many people that trust the CIA. They've been caught too many times with their hands inside the cookie jar. And we and I'm not going to make today all about this. Okay. But, this is part of yesterday's conversation. This is MIT.
There is only one solution. Intifada revolution. Intifada. Long live the Intifada.
right. Every one of these people here should be under investigation. And any one of these people that are part of the here on visas, they should be getting, having their visas revoked and deported. And everybody else go on and any American citizens be put on a watch list. Yeah, Tyler, you're right about that. I trust the CIA to be the CIA. Yeah. Hey, Wiley, good morning to you. Or Willie. I don't know why I keep saying Wiley. But now that this group here is openly supporting terrorist organizations, we need to remove that element as much as possible. Deport those that can be deported, revoke visas, etc. And any American citizens, they get put on watch lists. Oh, you want to fly? Sorry, you can't fly. That's right. They're put on the do not fly list. Oh, you want a security clearance? Sorry, no, you don't get a security clearance. Wile E. Coyote Super Genius. Oh, okay. That's why I got that. Okay. So yeah, this is just too much. This is just too much. We're we've got our troops within gunnery range in the Middle East of Gaza. People that don't like us, people that turned a once beautiful seaside resort into a slum, all for politics. So yeah, I've got our troops shouldn't be there. Our troops, and it's not the $320 million I'm complaining about. I mean, our government blows that much in toilet paper, and toilet paper is probably going to have more use. But the fact that they're doing it within range of our troops being shot at and being hurt. Yes, I know. When I signed the paperwork and raised our right hands and swore the oath, we knew that we would be put into harm's way, into places, locations, jobs that could get us hurt. Yes, that's a given when you join the military. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, no matter how much they want to try to update it for the new left wing Moors. But that doesn't mean we put our troops into the way like that for no reason. That's the problem I have with it. I don't see a reason for our troops to be building that thing. I don't see a reason for our troops to be aiding Gaza and the Palestinians. They're not going to thank us for it. They're not going to all of a sudden be our bestest buddies in the world. They're still going to hate us. We're still going to be the devil to them. So that's enough of that. What do I have up here next? This woman come across my feed this morning by accident. Ty, that's the way to do it. So, but this woman come across, popped up in my feed this morning, and yeah, she's going to be a Biden voter. She's going to be a Biden voter.
I woke up to some amazing news yesterday, but according to my local Nextdoor page, other people find it a terrible idea. Hi, Mac. So, I woke up yesterday to a text from my husband that was just a link to an article, he's out of town, saying that all Art Institute graduate loans are forgiven.
Art Institute graduate loans. Okay.
Canceled. Yeah, I graduated from there. Went there for 2 years to get a second degree.
She already had one degree, and she decided to go to an art institute to get her second degree.
And I ended up taking out, I think it was $37,000, either 34 or 37. I think it was 37. I graduated
37 grand for a 2-year college degree. Okay.
in 2006. I have been paying the loan back since 2006. I even put a giant lump sum down on it at least 10 years ago, $20,000 to be exact. I am still paying that loan, and I still owe roughly $11,000 on it.
Now, like I said, this come up on my feed this morning, so I haven't had time to look at this. All right, she borrowed, let's call it the 37,000. She paid down, she did that in 2006. So that was 18 years ago. 10 years ago, she paid 20 grand down. So effectively, she took her 37,000 and dropped it down to 17,000. All right. She could, in 2006, she could have bought and had paid off by now. So, I'm assuming she's got a very, very low premium that she's paying back. For her not to have paid back $17,000 in 18 years, that's less than $1,000 a year So what's she paying back, including, and for her to still owe money, and the government interest rate is not that high on these. I believe they're at 5%, maybe 4%. So they're very low interest rates. In fact, I think they're even lower. They were even lower back then, around 3%. But she couldn't be paying much. $100, $150 a month, maybe. Not really. Why'd you get a useless degree like that?
So far, I've paid roughly $60,000 for that $37,000 loan.
And when I pay off my $100,000 loan on my house, I will pay back almost $300,000. And that's with a 3% interest. That's what happens when you borrow money. When you borrow money from someone else, you always pay back more than what you borrowed, regardless of how low your interest rates are. Okay? You always pay back more than what you borrowed, especially if you're paying it back over a period of years. You took out a $37,000 loan in 2006. Why are you still paying on that in 2024? How many vacations have you taken since then? Huh? That seems to be a pretty nice room that you've got there. Is that part of a house or is that part of an apartment? Did you buy a McMansion? Or did you buy a house that you could afford? What kind of cars are you driving? How often do you go out to eat? This is money you borrowed from me, a taxpayer, to pay for your education.
Having that loan canceled means that it doesn't exist anymore. No one is paying it. No one has to pay anything else.
That's right. Money you still owe, nobody's paying on that no more. So whoever loaned you that money and expected to get that money back plus the interest is not going to be getting it. Money that was built into the budget.
Taxpayers are not involved. This is like a little box of things happening and it's closed.
What do you mean taxpayers aren't involved? You borrowed the money from the taxpayers with the promise to pay it back with interest. You didn't pay it back with interest. Taxpayers are definitely involved.
So if you're a taxpayer and you're upset that some people are getting their loans forgiven, I don't understand it, because for me, like, I hope that things are easier for my kids. And for some,
Then if you want to make things easier for your kids, then put money into a college fund for them so they don't have to borrow any money to go to college. Tell them not to get a useless art degree unless they know that they're going to be able to make a living with that art degree. Tell them to stay away from colleges and universities that require them to take gender study classes or race-based classes just to get an economics degree. Tell them to go into the trades. where they can get out and be earning money right away while they learn.
For some reason, you guys think that they should be equally as hard, if not more. Why? It doesn't discount what you went through. That's a rant for another day, though, isn't it? I need to stay off next door. To anyone complaining about anyone's loans being forgiven, you have nothing to do with it. So why do you have an opinion on it? You are dead set in believing that your taxes are covering these loans. They're not. The loans just don't exist anymore. They're gone. Like, you're not paying for it. For the love of God, take Fox News off your parents' channels. Just like erase it and see how long it takes them to figure out how to get it put back on. Because, oh my God, they all need a brain reset or something. I don't. Anyway, I'm not paying my loans anymore. But the thing that I'm really most excited about, and literally fuck you to anybody who's mad about it, is that I might get a refund. So, yes.
This woman, I said, sorry, I was sitting there looking at the chat. This woman is completely not looking. She doesn't look at the facts. She's just happy as hell that she, like she said, I'm not paying, the loans aren't going to get paid off and I don't have to pay them off anymore. The loans don't exist anymore. I don't have to pay them off. Yay! You know, it would be, hey, Duck Dog. Yeah, it's great. You have to take a gender study course, but can't do any math. Now, I'll be the first one to admit my degrees that I've got have been, for all intents and purposes, basically worthless to my life. No one cares I got a degree in television and radio broadcasting because I didn't do it. No one cares I got a degree in airfield management because I didn't do it. No one cares that I got a certificate in electronics, and I certified by 8 different companies for warranty repair work on their electronics. Now that I did do, and made a pretty decent side hustle doing it. And probably could have made a decent living when I got out of this. But then, who does electronic repair anymore? How many places can you take stuff for electronic repair and still make money? Not many. If you've got 1 or 2 shops in your town, they can't support a third or a fourth, so it's not like it's a booming industry. So well, see, Mass, you sit here and you look at the typical house loan. All right, like my last mortgage payment I paid of $900 Only $100 and some of that went to the principal. Another $100 and some of it went to taxes and insurance. So let's call it 200. Let's say $300 of it, of that 900. The other $600 went to interest. You pay the interest off first before you really start paying the principal off. So most loans, most loans aren't structured that way. And I don't think house mortgages should be structured that way personally, but they are, and you live with the way that, I imagine the interest rates would probably be a little bit higher if they weren't, but that's beyond my educational level in that field. So, but why would you take out $37,000 for an art degree unless you're planning on making that much money very quickly as an artist or in the art field? That just, but like I said, Biden is buying a lot of votes with these student loans. And that's politics, I guess. We all thought it was funny. I don't know how many of y'all remember the Clinton debates where the infamous ponytail guy gets up there and calls Clinton the daddy of the country. He's going to be the country's father. And then not too long ago, Drew Barrymore called Kamala Mamala. Oh, that reminds me. I meant to look this up and I forgot to. What does Mom Allah mean in Spanish? Oh, no, that's not what. Okay. Now, I heard somebody say that Mama Law meant shit or something like that. And let's see here. Mama Law can be mom or mom. Well, whatever. That's why you all when you see something come across your feed, always look it up before you believe it. always look for oh, you almost forgot about the ponytail guy. Oh, that was so much. That was so much. That was just so much fun. Ponytail guy. Okay, and type in Clinton here. "1992 presidential debate." Here we go. And let's go ahead and I'll share this screen.
And I asked them about how they felt about the tenor of the campaign. Would you like to let them know what you thought about that? When I said, are you pleased with how the campaign's been going? Who wants to say why you don't like the way the campaign is going? We have a gentleman back here.
If I may. And forgive the notes here, but I'm shy on camera. The focus of my work as a domestic mediator is meeting the needs of the children that I work with by way of their parents and not the wants of their parents. And I asked the three of you, how can we, as symbolically the children of the future president, expect the three of you to meet our needs, the needs in housing and in crime and you name it, as opposed to the wants of your political spin doctors and your political parties.
So your question is?
Can we focus on the issues and not the personalities and the mud? I think there is a need, if we could take a poll here with the folks from Gallup, perhaps. I think there is a real need here to focus.
As the children, the old ponytail guy. And yes, there was actually three people there because Ross Perot was was a candidate at the time, and some say he's the reason Bill Clinton won. We have a Grandpa Kid sniffer and an Aunt Horella. Ugh. (1992) I was been married for 2 years when that rolled through. But anyway, that. So when, as the father of our country, we're going to be your children. What a joke. But it's almost as much of a joke as who Biden's putting up for our judiciary. Going to be all over the place here today. My favorite guy when it comes to questioning in the Senate, old John Kennedy.
Vacant lots and repair abandoned buildings in urban neighborhoods. You see decreases in gunshots, in violence, as well as in stress and depression in the neighborhoods around them.
No disrespect, Doc, but that sounds a lot like word salad to me.
Oh.
Let me ask you this. In September of this year.
Oh, wait a
New
second. I
Mexico-
think I screwed up.
You don't think the rapist should be judged?
Here we go.
Testimony today.
Okay. Let me ask one more question. I'm sorry, I cannot see that far, Doctor, on the very end.
Cozy Gay, thank you.
Yes, sir. You said, I wrote it down. You said that no one should be judged by the worst thing they have done in their lives.
Correct.
Think about that. You should never judge anybody by the worst thing they'd ever done in their life. That sounds like one of those platitudes that you'd find up on the wall in Michael's or Bed Bath and Beyond or Hobby Lobby or something like that. Never judge anybody by the worst thing that they've ever done. That's what this man says. So let me back this up a couple of seconds.
You said that no one should be judged by the worst thing they have done in their lives.
Correct.
If one of these young doctors sitting behind you, God forbid, walks out on the streets of Washington, D.C., and is raped or sodomized, you don't think the rapist should be judged?
I don't think it should be terminal. It shouldn't be for the rest of their lives.
Should not be judged by the fact that he raped a woman for the rest of their life.
You think we should forgive them and not give them any punishment?
I believe in
You think
forgiveness.
nobody's responsible for their actions?
I believe in responsibility. I believe in forgiveness.
Thank you, Mr. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, this is a Biden appointee. Same. But this same guy, I will make a bet, hates Trump to the core of his being. And just could not find it in his heart to forgive a conservative for their political beliefs. You're probably right there, Raman. Most sins, most crimes can be forgiven, but there are those that cannot be. There are some crimes that are just so heinous, they simply can't be forgiven. And there are other crimes. If you're convicted of embezzling, do you think I'll put you out there working with my money? It's like Sheetz. It's a convenience store gas station company is being sued for discrimination. Why? By the Biden administration. Why? because they do criminal background checks. And if you got a criminal background, they won't hire you. Well, how's that discrimination? You may well ask. If they're not hiring people with criminal backgrounds, well, they're not hiring anyone based on their criminal background. But it affects blacks and minorities more than it affects white people. Unfreaking believable. This right now, banks, and I'm going to tie this together with this. Right now, banks, the big banks, not the small ones, not your local regional ones, but the big ones, Chase, Wells Fargo, etc. They're closing bank accounts of religious groups. Just closing them. No real reason why. Just saying, well, having that group bank with them no longer fits with their brand identity. And banks, as a private business, do have the right to determine who they do business with. But why is it banks think that they can get away with this? And when I was looking, and I've been looking at the articles here for the past couple of days, I want to do some more research on it. But it appears that the groups that they're closing the accounts with, and I could be wrong, that's why I want to do some more research, appear to be the further right, the further conservative the church group is, the more likely they are to have their bank accounts closed. The thing is a few years ago when these same banks were going in and closing down the accounts of FFL dealers at the behest of the Obama administration, very few people even batted an eye at it. Well, it's just them gun dealers. Who cares? Just them gun people. Who cares what the gun people want? I'm an idiot. Castro's love child up there in Canada. Remember, during the COVID trucker strike, they took over the bank accounts of the truckers. Because they realized when you got control of somebody's money, you got control of them. And when the government can step in and tell the bank that the government is going to confiscate your money, or the government steps in and tells the bank that, it's not a good idea for you to be doing business with these kind of people. And if you want to continue doing business with them, then you got to understand that you're going to come closer under our eyes. And you may get more an audit instead of every 5 years. You may have to get an audit every year. So this, yeah, that you're, this whole idea that the banks now can just randomly close down bank accounts, call loans in, or confiscate your account to pay off any loans that you may have with them. And there goes my phone to the floor. This is getting scary. But the left is going to sit there and claim that we are being the ones that are, being dictators. We're the ones to be afraid of. We're the ones that are a threat to democracy. We're the ones that you need to be concerned about. Makes no good sense to me, people. Makes no good sense to me. Oh, I'm not going to get into that. All right. Well, like I said, today's show is going to be a short one, and I guess that's about as short as it is because I don't have this other stuff. Oh, Jamie Raskin. Before I go, I did forget about this. Jamie Raskin here. What an idiot. It's not that he's an idiot. It's just he's a hypocrite.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Raskin for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The government distributes $1.2 trillion a year in grants and loans through thousands of different programs that go out to the states and localities and tribal governments. All of us have constituents who benefit from federal grant money going to fire safety, healthcare.
No, she's not wearing a do-rag anymore. He got his hair back.
Their domestic violence programs, after-school programs, and so on. Traditionally, it's been very difficult to apply to get this money. The application process has been opaque, elusive, inscrutable, incomprehensible, poorly written, lots of unnecessary administrative burdens, and so on. But earlier this month, you announced significant updates to the OMB's Uniform Grants Guidance process. And we've been getting rave reviews from different parts of the country about this. Tell us, what are the changes that you've made to the Uniform Grants process to make it more transparent and accessible to the mayors and the county commissioners and the people who end up applying for a lot of this money?
Ranking Member Raskin, thank you for the question, and we were appreciative of having.
Just answer the question and quit telling him how much you appreciate him asking it and how much you want to kiss his ass.
Montgomery County residents speak at our event. OMB doesn't typically hold events when we announce new government-wide policy. We had about 10,000 people join on this event, and we had a packed room, over 150 people in the room, given the broad excitement across every single state. The first thing we did was completely overwrite the grants guidance in plain language. Why does that matter? Agencies were interpreting specific components of it in different ways. So that meant a recipient who had grants from two different places was getting two sets of requirements from two different agencies on the same words, or agencies were layering on compliance requirements that was discouraging people from ever even applying for federal funds. The second thing is we're using this overhaul to also change our approach to notices of funding opportunities, NOFOs. We're trying to.
I lost where it was at here. Maybe this was it. I'm sorry, guys.
The president to replace
Yep.
career government. The Schedule F proposal would permit the president to replace career government workers and experts with political loyalists. Can you discuss what the return of Schedule F could do to the civil service and how it would affect the services to our people?
Well, being as most of the people working in the government now are already dedicated Democrats. They're already political loyalists. Most of the people working for the federal government in civilian jobs. They're already your people. What you're concerned about, because we saw that under Trump's administration. What he's afraid of is those political loyalists to the Democratic Party being removed. And taken off the government tit. To where he won't have their support anymore. That's what they're concerned about. One thing, and I got this from multiple people. Other than in the Pentagon is one of the one areas where it wasn't as bad. But in most of these government agencies, liberals, Democrats outnumber the Republicans at least 10-1. The organization my wife works for, she knows of 3 other, out of the 100 and some employees they've got, she knows of 3 other conservatives. So that's 4 out of 100 and some employees. You've already got the party loyalists. They're all Democrats.
Ranking Member Raskin, thank you. This is an important topic. Again, for well-performing organizations, whether in the private sector or the public sector, the most important thing is its workforce. We have, for 140 years, had an approach focused on experience and expertise, a merit-based system. Schedule F would have undermined that very system. We want to make sure that the people within our agencies bring experience and expertise irrespective of their personal political views or who sits in the White House so that we can deliver.
But you got no problem accepting people based upon DEI because you want to have that diversity. You've got to have that inclusion. You don't care about expertise if that expert is a white conservative. If you got a white conservative and a black liberal going up, you don't care about that expertise. If you got a man or a woman going up, you don't care which one's the expertise. Don't lie to us. We've seen the government employees. We've seen them. We've heard them. Walk into your city hall. Walk into your city hall and see how many women there are working in your city hall versus how many men. All right. And who's in what pot and who's got the positions of authority? Not your elected officials. I'm talking about the permanent hire ones. See, that's a good thing about having relatives that worked in DC. They clued me in as to how many, what the office politics were like.
We have leaders in positions that are the decision makers. The workforce is accountable to their managers and to the leaders. The approach that we have taken, the first week the president reversed that through executive order, would strengthen. The return of Schedule F would have a significant chilling effect on our ability to retain and to recruit talent in a broad range of spaces, including critical skill areas the federal government badly needs.
Finally, I'm looking at some data from the
Screw you, Raskin. I can't. You're a lying piece of garbage. Yeah, Tyre, you I would imagine you do, again, working in security. So, well, like I said, guys, I know today's show's a bit on the short side, stream's a bit on the short side, but that's what happens sometimes. I'm by my lonesome, and I can only talk so much some days. But we'll all be back. All right. As usual, it'll be Thursday. All right, because you don't want to hear me after I've been up 20 some hours tomorrow on a Wednesday. But everybody, we'll see you back on Thursday. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. All right. Have a good one.